Good evening, everyone. I'm the book devotee, and I'm here tonight with my video review of Nora Roberts' Dance of the Gods. It's book 2 in the Circle trilogy. If you remember my first review of the first book, we followed Hoyt and Glenna as they got to know each other. Hoyt was tasked with the job of bringing 5 others together with him so that they could fight off a vampire that was trying to take over the world, and not just his world. She wants complete world domination. In the first book, the 6 slowly came together, had a bunch of battles, and got to know one another, and Hoyt and Glenna especially got close. If you've read the book, then you know, of course, that what happens. If you haven't read the book, then here's a spoiler alert, at least a slight one, just to warn you. Hoyt and Glenna, in the second book, have just had their hand fasting, which is like the Celtic, Irish, Scottish version of a marriage. They've said their vows to each other. It's something that I believe is supposed to last for a year traditionally, and then they can decide if they want to keep going. But I believe for these guys, it's a lifetime commitment. In the middle of their hand fasting, or marriage, Lilith decides to attack. And they have to deal with the vampires and all the minions and everything else attacking on one of their most sacred nights. So, of course, they do what they do best and fight them off. Book 2, Dance of the Gods, starts off from there. It's the night afterwards. They've fought their battle. They've beaten her back, thankfully. They're happy for that. They've done what they needed to. But now they're getting worried. Blair, who's the warrior in the group, even though she's a female, she's a warrior, which is awesome in my mind. She keeps getting messages from Morrigan, the goddess, who keeps coming to her mentally, taking her on side trips, showing her a valley of silence, which is the ultimate battleground for them. And they know through her that it's time to go on to the next battlefield. This is the book where they go to Larkin's home, and Larkin and his cousin is the princess, soon to be the queen, if all goes well and she pulls the sword out of the rock. And it's where everything else is supposed to take place. I really enjoy this book because, it's completed one romance where, Blair and Glenna have done their thing. Or not Blair, sorry, Hoyt and Glenna have done their thing. Most romances, it kind of ends with that. They're done. They've finished their deal happily ever after. Well, in this book, we still see them. We get to hear from them. We get to see how things go with them. They learn how to negotiate better, and they're still part of the story. They have a strong part in it. All the 6 do. It's got 3 really strong women, 3 really strong men in it. And I really like this. The whole series overall is awesome. But this book, especially for some reasons, just one of my favorites. I really like the interaction between Blair and the interaction between Larkin. Just his overall playfulness mixed with her more serious side is really fun to watch, and the fireworks are quite interesting. The battle does continue. For those that like a little more action and a little less romance, there's plenty of it. You have your many different fights. Larkin kind of takes Blair all over his land to show her his homeland, and in the process, Lilith keeps trying to attack, and the princess, Mariah, Larkin's cousin, has to get up an army, and, it's all coming together. And they've learned how to come together in the first book. Now they're putting what they learned to use. It's got some really great parts in here that are just laugh out loud funny, some really sweet parts that just really kind of touch the heart a little. Blair's, she's a little more trust issues, we'll say. She's been betrayed, she's been hurt. She's got to learn how to overcome that. Larkin, he's just open-hearted. He's been waiting for the one, and, you'll have to read the book and see if he's found her or not. But overall, it's really fun to just see how they all interact out of each other's element. And even, Mariah finds herself in a new element where her mother's dead, she's being looked to as a leader, and her place has never really been in battle. So it's really cool. It's a good leading up to. The first one book introduced everything. This one leads up to the end, and the third one is the conclusion. And that's, it's another really good storyline that I enjoy because you see the characters kind of more fully. You get more of a sense of their attitude, and you even see some interesting things. So I give this book in particular a 5 out of 5 star rating. I highly recommend this book. Even if you've never read the other two books, it gives you a prologue where it kind of helps you start off so that if you missed the first book, if you've never read it, then hey, this will give you at least enough of the backstory so you have some idea of what's going on. And I encourage you to go back and find the first book. It's a very good book also. So 5 out of 5 stars. Pros for me are a great storyline. It doesn't drag at all. It's got plenty of energy in it, a lot of life. It's a very good book. I enjoy it. Cons for me, the one con for me is mainly that Lilith kind of strikes me as a whiny teenage girl 90% of the time. But that's why you don't like her. Some do, some don't. I'm not a fan of her. She's the bad guy, obviously, but still. And she doesn't really develop fully. Like, you get more of her story. You find out more about her, but she still seems a little one-sided in my mind as a bad character. But other than that, I really like this. There's a couple sad points in here. One of my more favorite side characters, something happens to him, and it's kind of sad, but it's kind of sweet at the same time, the rest of the story. So I give it props for romance. I give it props for the adventure. I give it props for the flow, for being really well written, highly entertaining, and easy to follow, even if you haven't read the other books. So I have really enjoyed reading this book. I hope that you get the chance to pick up a copy of your own, ebook or physical. I think it's on ebook, I'm not sure. But I hope you get the chance and get to enjoy it. Thanks so much, and I hope that you guys come back for my next review, the last one for this trilogy, book 3 of the Circle of the Gods, or the Circle trilogy. Thanks so much, and until next time, keep reading.